Today we're talking about touring houses in this current market environment where things are moving at the speed of lightning, right? You're calling up an agent and saying, hey, is this house available? It just came on the market 20 minutes ago, and they're telling you, we've got 20 offers, best and finals due tomorrow, right? And so this market is moving so quickly because of lack of inventory, the supply versus demand, right? It's just the demand is outweighing supply. Interest rates are still historically low, okay? And so with that said, how do we be a prepared buyer in this marketplace? And I'm not talking about being prepared by having your pre-approval or your funds ready, right? Although that's the first step. I'm talking about actually being prepared for showings, okay? So what do we need? We need a notepad, handy dandy notepad. Bring a pen, bring paper, a notepad, a clipboard, and literally write down 521 Maple Street, okay? Pros and cons, okay? And then you want to go ahead and you want to tour that house, right? With intent. So let's not just look at the house to look at the house, right? We're looking at the house as if we're going to buy the house. And not only that, this may be the only opportunity you get to tour the house. Why do I say that? Because in this market, it is not uncommon for sellers to get multiple offers within 24 to 48 hours. And then it's not uncommon for that seller to go around and say, hey, I am bombarded with showings. I'm tired of getting in and out of my house just to allow 100 showings. We're going to accept one offer. Showings stop tomorrow. And best and final is due the following day, 10 a.m., 5 p.m., 12 p.m., whatever the case may be. And now you've only had one shot to look at that house. So let's be intentful and let's go ahead and make sure that we have been there, present, and really engulf that house, right? Making sure, is this the right fit for me? So you should have done your homework as to what your ideal house is, what that looks like, okay? And then how does this house stack up? And so how do we go ahead and look through a house and make sure that this is the right house? Or at the very least, know what 521 Maple Street's all about, okay? So you're walking in. That minute you walk up to the curb, I'm looking at the curb appeal, right? I'm looking at the siding, okay? If there is a deck, I'm looking at the deck. Are there any cracks? Do I see, maybe separation of the deck from the house, okay? I mean, really paying attention to some of these details, right? And so now you'll know, are there some big ticket items that I need to budget for? Because today, a lot of houses are being sold as is. Sellers control the marketplace, and so they are not looking to really do anything. And so you may have to go ahead and just take on, if you love this house, that is, you have to really consider that you may have to buy a house and budget thereafter any issues, nuances with that house. So let's take a real good stroll through this house and get detail oriented. So again, we're looking at the deck. Are there any cracks in the wood? Is the wood separating? Am I going to have to replace boards in this deck? Okay. If you decide that you want to do something like a composite thereafter, hey, that's on you, and just make sure you write in a note. This is, I should probably budget for, next point, bring a measuring tape with you, okay? I carry one in my car, measuring tape and a laser measurer, okay? However, not every realtor is going to be prepared for you. Be prepared for yourself. This is your house that you're looking to buy, okay? And so bring a measuring tape with you. This way now you can measure that deck, and then maybe you can get some estimates. Hey, I've got a 10 by 20 deck. This is what it's going to cost me, and now I can budget that, right? So now we can really understand what this house is going to cost us, either maybe in the long haul, or if it's going to be the right house versus, now you can stack up two houses, 521 Maple Street and pros and cons on, Florida Avenue. Okay, so again, curb appeal. All right, do I love this house? Is there a deck? Is it separating? Is there concrete? Are there any big cracks? Right, and so now we got to think about mason work. Okay, and so you want to take down that note. May need a mason to come out and give me an estimate on X. Right. Check out the door, check out the windows. Okay, are they vinyl? Are they, metal? Are they the older wood with the little pulley system, right? And so, let's take a look at the windows. What brand maybe, even if that's important to you, okay? And so we're gonna take that look. Let's look at the roof. Can we see the roof from, the street, from the curb? Is that, a roof that looks like there's a bunch of waves, dips? Is there a lot of moss on there? Does that look like a roof that's been neglected? Are the gutters clogged, right? So if the gutters are clogged and neglected, maybe there's some seepage of water, right, that's backing into the house. Is there one layer? Is there two layers? Is there, oh no, 3 layers on top of the roof, okay? And so, again, you can go ahead and ask for the seller's disclosure, and it's, between you and I, worth the paper it's written on. However, I get it. Gives some people peace of mind, and it holds some people's feet to the fire. But nonetheless, you can go ahead and ask for that as well. But let's look for ourselves, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the roof. Perfect. Siding. Perfect. Windows. We're going through the door now. Let's take a look at the floor. Are there any imperfections with the floor? Do we see any waving in the floor, right? Any separation? Do I see any big cracks in the foundation or in the ceiling? Do I see any water leaks in the roof? Right, or excuse me, in the ceiling, which could be a roof issue, or could it be plumbing because there's another story upstairs, right? 2 stories. So is there a bathroom above and maybe there was a leak? Now I can go back, I take my notes, I can go back to my agent and say, hey, I noticed at 521 Maple Street, there was a leak in the, in the downstairs area, which was right below the bathroom upstairs. Could you ask the seller, the seller's agent, to ask the seller whether or not they've ever experienced a leak? And so now you can get some feedback, okay? And now you can see if they took care of that. Is it an active leak, or is it something that they took care of and remediated and that they can disclose to you? And maybe they can even provide you with some type of invoice that a professional, maybe a plumber, has taken care of that work for them, okay? So I'm looking for leaks. I'm looking for big, nasty cracks that may say, hey, I may need to have some type of structural engineer out here, right? Some big foundational cracks. How's the floor? Is it wavy? Is it like this? Do I feel like I'm walking on a boat, right? And so take a look at that. Open the windows, right? Let's open up each windows, make sure they work. Do they all have screens, okay? Is there paint chipped, right? Let's take a look at the paint. Are there holes on the wall, right? Now, you may have seen a house that was done up very nicely and they've got professional photography and maybe it was edited. So take some pictures of your own. Bring that measuring tape inside. Do you have furniture that needs to come with you? And if my king size bed does not fit in the master, that's make or break for me. So let me measure the bedroom. Do I have a big bureau or a dresser that I just can't see myself departing from? So it has to fit. Let me find a wall. Let's measure that. Let's do that first. Let's make sure we're taking these notes down, okay? Now, granted, these are going to be, longer tours, and that's fine because we're out there looking for the house that you're going to spend maybe the next, on average, 5 to 7 years, but some people longer than that, okay? So when you have to pay that mortgage every month, you want to make sure you're in the right house. So let's take the time and let's actually utilize that time to really make sure this is the house I want you, my realtor, my agent, to go ahead and negotiate on, okay? And so we're looking through this. Mechanicals, okay? Let's take notice of mechanicals. What are mechanicals? Your hot water heater, okay? Is it tankless? Is it a tank? How old is it? Again, you can reference the seller's disclosure should the seller provide you with one, okay? Is it maybe at the end of life? If it's working properly, it's really not going to be a great case to try and negotiate because it's working. If it's working, it's not broke. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. So, and especially in this market environment, all right? So let's take notice of that. If it's at the end of life, you may want to take a note. Hey, 123 Maple Street, that water heater is 15 years old and I may need one in the next 1 to 3 years. Who knows? Maybe it won't happen for another 10. But at least in the back of your mind, you move in week 1 or month 1, it conks out on you. At least you've budgeted for it, okay? Other mechanicals, your HVAC system, all right? So this is your heating and your cooling system, right? So you've got your furnace, you've got your HVAC system. So let's take notice of both. HVAC is going to look like that rectangular box. You hardly can miss it. It's a big rectangular box, normally up in your attic space, okay, or in the attic, right? In some houses, it's in the crawl space underneath the house. You're probably not going to get there, your home inspector, But again, if you can see it, visualize and see it, let's take notice of the age. Let's see if it's been serviced, if there's a service sticker, and when's the last time it's been serviced, right? If it's been serviced recently or you see it's serviced yearly, well, then you know that the owner is taking care of this mechanical box and it's probably in good condition because it's been serviced yearly, okay? If they do have, boiler system, if they do have a furnace, let's see if that's been serviced. When's it's been serviced? Who's servicing it? What's the model? What year? Okay, and again, just taking notice of these things, right? And then AC condenser. So AC condenser is the rectangular box on the exterior of the house predominantly. And so that you want to take notice, hey, what brand is it? What year, right, was this manufactured? A lot of times there's a sticker that literally says it right there. And again, you can reference all of these things in a seller's disclosure. But if you don't have one to reference, at least you can visually and then take a picture, right? And then you can write these things down. HVAC is this old, furnace is this old, AC condenser this old. And if they are at the end of life, you can now budget for those items in the future, okay? And same thing for the roof, right? So again, if you can, get into the attic and see, does the wood look dry? Are there any water spots, right? Any big cracks, right? Any separation? Can I see any daylight? Any critters? And so take notice of these things while you're inside of the house, okay? And then appliances, right? By all means, open them up, take a look at them, right? And so in this COVID world, maybe you have to wear gloves to open them up. However, take notice of the brand. What are they? Stainless steel, anti-smudge, what have you, and see what they have, right? And again, feel free to take pictures or videos so that you can reference too. And then again, measuring these spaces so that in the event you want to swap out your own fridge or your own appliances or your own furniture, you then know what the dimensions are of this room, what the dimensions are or length and width of XYZ wall is in XYZ room, okay? And so you want to make sure that these are things you're jotting down, right? Is the bathroom dated? Is it to your liking, right? Or if you have plans, maybe you want to even jot that down. Hey, bathroom's dated. I may want to go ahead and just, tile the bathroom. And now you can put a budget to the side for that. And then you can also now, when you compare XYZ house, right, 123 Maple Street to, Fairfield Avenue, you can say, wow, well, for an extra $20,000 more, I can get this turnkey move-in ready house versus 123 Maple Street, which I just put an extra budget for maybe $50,000 for. And this is now what's going to help you decide which house is the right home for you, okay? Backyard space, right? So if we're going to go ahead and put in a pool or you have plans to, if there's not one there, ask for a survey. And then you want to go through the township rules and regulations, see what the setbacks are. Can I put a pool back there, right? Can I put some structure, a shed, a detached garage, whatever. And so envision that space and how you want to customize it for yourself. And is it going to be able to fit within the footprint, right? And so these are things that you really want to take notice. Does it have a fence if that's important to you? Okay, so then what are the dimensions of this lot, right? Ocean Acres, a lot of them are 75 by 120 lots. So now I know, hey, I can go to my fence guy or girl and say, hey, what is it going to cost me, to go ahead and fence in this yard because I've got a dog, I've got kids, I want a fence, right? And so now, again, I can put the budget to the side for that particular house, okay? And again, you've got your pros and cons, you've got your checklist of each house. And so now I'm prepared in the event that seller says, hey, Mr. Realtor, tell your clients, Ruben, your clients have till tomorrow to bring their best and final, and we're not allowing any more showings, so they better know that house inside and out to make a decision on moving forward or not. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys on the next one.